It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and comics from all over. We never learn to put the toilet seat down, and this is because we never learn a damn thing. Guys, I have not been paid yet. Guys, damn it. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy.
Bailey Miller and Talk Funny. We were talking about the Oscars, and you mentioned Encino Man, and there's kind of irony there.
It was interesting because Brendan Fraser won for Best Picture for The Whale, and then Ke Huy Quan won Best Supporting Actor for... no, it wasn't Best Picture, sorry. He won Best Actor, Brendan Fraser, and then Ke Huy Quan won Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And both of them starred together in Encino Man years ago with Paulie Shore. So Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about that, about Paulie Shore, you know, don't you feel like you're missing out? You're the only one here who's not on stage, kind of thing. But Paulie Shore actually said something really nice. He wrote back and he said, "Thank you for remembering me." And he's actually pretty big about it, you know. He was back in the 80s. He was a huge star and he was a little bit arrogant. But I think he's kind of calmed down a bit. He's a little bit older and he thanked them. He said some really nice things on Twitter.
Yeah, 80s, 90s, he was very obnoxious because his mom ran the comedy store, Mitzi. And he was very obnoxious. He would get on stage in New York, and he'd say, "A lot of you probably think that I just got here because of my mom." He's like, "Duh," but I'm still doing a set. So we have some news on the police front.
Oh, really? A breakthrough?
They
break-in?
They came again.
Wow.
On one of our podcasts, we were talking about the bad timing with my wife keeping my gaijin card, my residence card, which are required to carry all the time. And this time, it was, now I'm ready for him. I know what to do. I showed Mike the escape route. There's an escape route through the garage, and you can sneak in.
Secret entrance.
Right, and I decided that's what I would do. And they came again on a Thursday, and I saw them pushing all the numbers. And I see they're on the 6th floor. They're pushing 603, 604, 605, you know, and we're on the 3rd floor.
Wow.
And then they won't come up if you answer. So I deducted they're starting at the top, and they're coming down. So I just snuck out. You know, it was Thursday. I wouldn't be there normally on a Thursday anyway.
Yeah.
When school starts back, I'm not there all day. I don't have to be here for them. It's not a requirement for me to be here.
No.
And so I just snuck out. The bad timing of it was the night before I'd been out drinking. One of the bar hostesses got so sick she couldn't even walk home. And my office is very close. So I walked into my office. And then she was saying, "Please let me just stay overnight." And I said, "I'm going to get into a lot of trouble with my landlord. I'm not supposed to have guests here." And he's already suspicious. And if I had and I didn't let her stay, got her a taxi. If I had let her stay, she would have answered the door. The cops would have been like, "So who are you? Why are you staying here?"
That's your radar there.
Yeah, I've got Aichi Keisatsu-dar. Aichi Police Dar.
Copdar.
So what I do when I see the cops, I just take the fire escape and I go out they're not monitoring the garage entrance exit, and I just go to the park and I wait. I did that, but they were pushing buttons for 2 or 3 hours. I would walk by and I'd still see the police bike that I showed you today.
Are you sure it's for you? It might be for someone else in the building.
No, they're checking everybody, and they're just harassing. I think they didn't catch people before. They didn't get them at home. But they forget who they talked to, and they just push it again.
They're probably looking for people with like expired visas and stuff like that, and just want to harass people.
It's not the guy that I talked to before, so it's a different guy. So do you guys talk to each other? Do you have the information? Because even the same guy, when I talked to him the first time, then I just went down 10 minutes later, and he goes, "Oh, could I talk to you?" And I said, I already talked to you.
Yeah.
I know we all look alike, but I already talked to you.
Well, it reminds me of a story. Once I was down in Kaneyama, which is kind of in middle of Nagoya, and I met this guy who lived in the area, and he was, I forget where he was from in Africa, Ghana or somewhere, and he told me he would ride his bike through his neighborhood where he lived. He was married. His wife was living with his wife, and he was stopped by the cops so many times that they never the same thing. They're like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "You guys stopped me last week. You know who I am. I showed you my ID." And it happened so often that eventually he just couldn't put up with it anymore. And this guy had a lot of balls. He went down to the Koban and just started yelling at them. He's like, "You know I live here. This is where I live. Please stop harassing me." And to their credit, they did. But I was like, wow, you got a lot of courage to do that, man. Because
was he on his bike, though?
Yeah, he was on his bike. That was it. They would stop him always on his bike.
That's what happened.
Riding in the neighborhood, yeah.
And, you know, I had a bike rental shop, so I have a lot of different bikes. I own all of them. but I'm on a different bike every time they see me. And they're like, oh, now we got him. Now the walls are closing in. I'm not going to talk about Trump, but yeah, the walls are closing in on him now. Oh, they got him now. And then he gets out again. He gets out again. Dope. He had to register.
Could shoot a man on Hirokoji Dori and walk away from it.
Get away with it. I could destroy a bicycle on Buhei Dori. Get away with it. I could throw a bicycle off of my balcony. And they check me every time, and they're disappointed. Oh, the registration has your name on it, just like you said. Yeah, can I go
And
now?
it's not expired either.
No. And there was a period I've told this story before, but 4 or 5 years ago, it happened June and October. And in June, also in October, I got stopped 12 times in 8 days.
Wow.
On my bike. And
that'll drive you a little crazy.
Yeah, and by the 12th time, I'm just livid.
Mm-hmm.
I see the cops. You better not even pull me. Don't even think about. Boo! Pull me over.
You better not think of boo.
Pull me over.
Guaranteed.
And we just want to check your bike because, as you know, there's been a lot of bikes. No, I don't know that. No, I still don't know that. I said, you're going to check it, and it's going to be mine. You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
I'm late for work. And I was really livid. And he said, why are you so angry? And I said, you guys have stopped me 12 times in 8 days. He goes, no, I didn't stop you. Yeah, but there's more than one cop in Aichi. I've been stopped in Aichi. I've been stopped in Gifu. It's like Churchill. We'll stop him in the mountains. We'll stop him in the sea. We'll stop him by land.
We'll stop him in Kanayama. We'll stop him at Nagoya Station. We'll stop in Sakai.
Never stop stopping him. And finally, my wife was so tired of me complaining about it. The first few times, she'd say, well, you must have been doing something suspicious. Say, this doesn't happen. I said,
being a foreigner in Japan, it's very suspicious.
By the 8th time, the cops are going, do you know why we stopped you? Oh, I know damn well why you stopped me.
Because you want me to confess to a crime? Is that why?
And my wife was at first she'd say, well, you probably were doing something suspicious. And I said, I'm riding on a bicycle. I'm not listening to headphones. I don't have an umbrella. I'm riding a bicycle. If that's suspicious, then I'll leave tomorrow. Okay, I'm done. So she got so tired of me, and I said, no, seriously. And I started taking pictures of the cops as they were leaving. I don't want to hassle.
Yeah.
And back then I couldn't record it on my phone. So by the 12th time, she goes, okay, let's go down to the station. It's right down the street. And find out what the hell's going on. And the police chief came out and goes, yeah, we remember him. Yeah, we stopped him.
We remember him, but we're still stopping him.
Because he was very angry when we stopped him. And he said, yeah, the 12th time. The first time, I wasn't that angry. Second time, that's kind of weird. Third time, you got to be kidding me. Fourth time, MFer, are you kidding me? Seriously? Fifth time, I'm not even going to stop. Maybe I just won't stop. Sixth time, I wish I had a knife. By the 12th time, it's like, I'm driving while black here. I'm driving while black. What the hell is wrong with you people? The guy goes, can I, the 12th time, the guy, it's Minatoku, and the guy goes, can I look at your bike? You look at my bike! You just take my bike! Just take it! I don't even want to ride a bike anymore. And the next day, I said, screw it, I'm not going to take my bike to the station. I will walk to the station.
Yeah.
And I see a cop. So I go to the elevator, and I kind of hide behind a column. They get out. I said, I'm not even on a bike! And you're stopping me. And they said, you know why we stopped you? And I said, oh, I know damn well why you stopped me. But let me hear your story. Let me hear your gaslight. And he said, well, because we saw that you saw us, and then you hid. And I said, yeah, but I didn't run. And I said, I know this neighborhood very well. If I didn't want you to find me, I wouldn't be waiting at the elevator for the elevator. I know these streets like the back of my hand. Wait, what the hell is that in my hand? No, I know the streets like the back of my hand. And he said, well, it's just suspicious. And I said, let me tell you something. I've been stopped 12 times, 13 times now, in 8 days. Now it's the 9th day. So wouldn't you get tired of that?
And on the 10th day, arrested.
And I said, I'm running businesses, and you guys are wasting my time, and you're actually, it's unfair advantage because you're not stopping Japanese as much. Oh, we stop Japanese. I said, there's one right now. There's a lady on a bike right now.
Look,
you just stop her.
Yeah.
There's another. There's a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, I can see. And I see guys, gaijin being pulled over, foreigners being pulled over by cops all the time. And I said, you know who the number one race of bike thefts in Japan? Japanese.
Yeah.
No, I thought that. No,
It's called
I don't think so.
statistics.
It's called statistics. I said, number one in Korea, Korean. Number one in U.S., Japanese. No, Americans.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm not sure. No. And I said, no, of course it's true.
Yeah.
But we stand out, so
Yes.
So finally, my wife said, "I've had enough of hearing about it.
Wow, she defended
Find out
you.
what happened." So we went down, and he said, "Yeah, June and October." She goes, "Yeah, he was also stopped in October a bunch of times, allegedly."
They must have had a file on you by then, right?
Well, what he told me is, it's a different cop every time. They don't talk to each other. They don't write anything down.
They don't write anything down.
We
That's
sucked
wonderful.
Mike, and we checked his registration, and it was okay. Well, that's not the record now, so we're going to stop you again.
Oh, my God.
Another cop, right? So she said, the police chief said, we're actually training in June and October.
Right.
And we're training interaction with foreigners.
And it's the new cops they send out
Yeah.
on the beat.
And
they want to enforce the letter of the law because they think, I have to do this and this and this. The old cops, they know you got to kind of grease the wheels, right?
But it's also a training for dealing with a foreigner. And he said sometimes the foreigners get angry. And I said, yeah, if you stop them 12 times, anybody would get angry. Gandhi would be angry by now.
Gandhi would be a little pissed.
We love you, India.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mother Teresa would use the F word by now.
That's
I mean,
right.
come on.
Mother Teresa would be less chewing them out.
The Dalai Lama. I'm glad I said it correctly. Not what I usually say. The Dalai Lama would be like, you MFers, get off of my mountain. And he said, no, what we're doing is we're training for interaction because a lot of police, young guys, are reticent to stop foreigners. And I said, I actually would prefer that.
That would be a nice thing.
Because in the 90s, you were reticent, and I liked it that way.
Yeah.
It was good. So I said, actually, I run a dispatch business. You're wasting my time because there's other bike rental companies run by Japanese, and you're not stopping them.
Yes.
It's unfair competition.
Yeah.
I have a dispatch business. I can hire foreigners that want to be in film, and they will do the training with you. But you film it, and you give it to the academy, and you show it.
Perfect.
They'll put it on IMDb.
Perfect.
They would love that.
Yeah.
Between us, we know 50 people who would love
Video on how to deal with foreigners.
I said, just ask. We'll do that. But you're interfering with our job.
Well, you know what? Jake Adelstein, who's the famous reporter used to work for the Yomiuri Shimbun in Tokyo, American guy, but lived in Japan for many years. What he said was, didn't he do an interview with a Japanese prosecutor? And he said one of the things we learned, or was it a cop? He said one of the things we learned in law school was that foreigners and gangsters have no human rights, kind of thing. He's on the record as saying that. So they just don't care. Let's be honest. They don't care. What are you going to do, file a complaint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who's going to listen to you?
And what people that don't live in Japan probably don't understand is that there's a 99% conviction rate in Japan. So if you get charged, you are probably not going to walk. And they can make up any reason they want. Well, he was resisting arrest because he said the F word and stuff. We won't name him, but one of our members of the Nagoya comedy was inebriated and was stopped by the police and was filming them, which I recommend if you can do that.
And it's your right. You're in a public space.
And he said, I have to sanitize it. He didn't say F the police. He said, look at all the effing police here. There's like 16 guys. You think you'd have enough effing police? He said that in English. And the head guy only understands the F word. And he thinks you're saying F the police. He goes, Yamete! He goes, Yamenai kara. And then, luckily, they let him go. But being inebriated on a bicycle carries a fine, about $5,000. You can go to prison. You can go to jail for 3 months because
even higher than that. I know of someone who got a friend who's dearly departed friend who I think he had to pay 1 million yen because he was seriously inebriated. He didn't hit anybody, but he fell off the bike himself, and he was very lost in the sauce when they got him.
And I kind of agree with it. I mean, not the severity of it, but the thinking behind it is you're going to swerve into traffic. You're going to make a family of 4 swerve into a telephone pole because you're drunk.
Or more likely, you're going to hit a pedestrian. You're going to hit an old lady on the street or something like that.
Yeah.
On the sidewalk.
So when the cops come, I just think, what I was prepared to do, I actually thought they were coming today. There's a police bicycle right now next to our studio. And I thought when Mike came...
Maybe he's one of our new Patreon supporters. He just wants to come support us.
He better not listen to our podcast. And... so I saw that, and I went out to meet Mike because I thought I might have to show him how to get in the other way.
So I climbed up the fire escape. It was fine.
Yeah.
I got a little dusty, but,
And
I may have set off the fire alarm, but...
what I decided is that we're just going to do our podcast, and if they push the doorbell, I'm going to invite him in. I'm going to take this mic, it's a long cord.
Yeah.
Say, we're actually broadcasting on the internet right now. What's your name, officer?
Techo,
kinda late.
what is it? Techo, misete kudasai. Show me your ID.
Yeah. What's your badge number?
Yeah.
This is going out everywhere. How do you feel about Indians? Indians and
Sri
Nepals?
Lankans.
Sri Lankans. A lot of them live here. So, did you have any questions? No, Dame. No, Dame. You're Dame. No, Dame, you shouldn't do that. Did I call you? Or did you come to me? Now you're my guest for the next hour.
That's right.
How does it feel to be detained, MFer? So first it came for Alex Jones. And then Tim Pool started getting sweaty. And I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and there's no podcaster left to stick up for me. Mark Bailey, Mike Miller talk funny.